Hey guys, Braden Marr here. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I lost 30 pounds and kept it off in less than 4 hours a week using the Minute Max Eternal Fat Loss Method, and how I've helped almost 1,000 people do the exact same thing. So prior to the Minute Max Eternal Fat Loss Method, I was a yo-yo dieter. I spent 6 years on this never-ending roller coaster of losing weight, only to gain it all back. I was spending way too much time in the gym. And on top of that, I was also working 50 hours a week and also trying to balance my family and social life. And unfortunately, I also dealt with disordered eating because I had this all or nothing mentality. Now, this video is for busy driven professionals who do not want to spend hours in the gym and they don't want these overly complicated meal plans. Maybe you've lost weight before and you gained it all back. You don't know what you should do and you simply struggle with being consistent. You're out of shape, you feel sluggish, and you simply don't know where to start. And you don't want to give up your social life or the foods that you love for the sake of losing body fat. And you want to feel confident in your skin again. You want to have energy to perform not only in the gym, but at work and at home. You want to break free from this never-ending roller coaster of losing weight only to gain it all back. You want to be stronger, healthier, and have more self-control over the temple without sacrificing your life. And you also want to set a good example for your family and also those around you. Now, I want to make this very crystal clear. If you do not have ambition and you do not desire personal excellence, which is simply being the best version of yourself, then this video is not for you. Just click off of this. So here's my goal from this video. I want to show you the best way for you personally. There's not a one-size-fits-all approach that you can lose 20 to 50 pounds through the Minute Max Eternal Fat Loss Method. I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that with less than 4 hours a week. I'm going to show you exactly how to keep the weight off after you've lost it. A little bit about myself and why I'm credible. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been personal training and doing online coaching for a total of 10 years now. And in my 10 years of experience, I've had the privilege to work with almost 1,000 clients up until this point. I understand the struggles of my clients, having lived through them myself. I know what it's like to be overweight. I know what it's like to be strapped for time, to be stressed out, and not having certainty into the plan that I was following. I practice what I preach. Everything that I teach my clients, I have done myself and I continue to do until this day. I'm educated. I have a Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology and Sports Studies. I have an ACE certification as a personal trainer as well as a fitness nutrition specialist. I've been through J3 University and I have several other certifications, and I'm constantly investing into my personal development, whether it be for my business, whether it be for nutrition, mindset, training, you name it. So a little backstory, I first got into fitness at the age of 18. I played a little bit of collegiate football. Then I got into competitive bodybuilding, which I did for 6 years. I had a very extreme mindset with fitness where I was all in with something. I was all in with the nutrition. I was all in with training. I was spending way too much time and putting way too much of my energy into one basket, and it was impacting the other areas of my life. And unfortunately, I have a long history of crash dieting, body dysmorphia, and even disordered eating. I can't tell you how many times I've lost weight only to put it back on simply because the approach that I was taking was very unsustainable and I just had a poor mindset overall. It took me 6 years to break free of the cycle, but I'm so blessed that I've been able to endure that because I've been able to help almost 1,000 people up until this day do the same thing. Thanks to the Minute Max Eternal Fat Loss Method, I actually enjoy the food that I eat. I eat with a purpose, not necessarily for pleasure. My health markers are absolutely perfect, and I have above average performance in the gym and in every other area of my life. And finally, I'm off of the never-ending roller coaster of this yo-yo diet. I lose weight, I gain it all back. I don't have to spend hours in the gym anymore to see awesome results. And again, I've helped hundreds of others do the same. Here's just a glimpse of the many testimonials that I will show you today. The first one on the left, this gentleman's name is JR. This guy right here actually is a competitor. He also, in a way, was dealing with some disordered eating and was a yo-yo dieter. We've actually put him in a position where he's able to stay in awesome shape year-round. This gentleman here is Kurt. Also a yo-yo dieter, very, very busy, works 50, 60 hours a week, also travels, and we're able to put him in a position to where he's not spending 5+ hours in the gym. He actually only trains 3 hours a week, and other than that, he's just simply moving a little bit more and controlling the food that he's putting into his mouth. This gentleman right here on the right center, this is Cody McIntyre. He is a physical therapist. You can imagine the stress that this gentleman puts up with. 50, 60-hour work weeks, 12-hour shifts, sometimes a little bit longer, dealing with people all day, and we managed to get these phenomenal results. He actually dropped 40 pounds in this transformation by only working out 3 days a week and controlling the food that he puts into his mouth, sleeping well, and moving a little bit better. And on the far right here, this is Pastor Shane. Also very busy. He's not only a pastor, but a business owner as well. In 12 weeks, he managed to drop 25 pounds, and he only trained no more than 3 hours a week. And same thing, he was controlling the food that he was putting into his mouth. He was staying active, managing his sleep, and all four of these gentlemen did an excellent job simply managing their time, not just with their fitness, but in their work, with their family, and everything else that they had going on in their lives. So today what we're going to cover is how you can simply lose body fat and keep it off, be healthier without spending hours in the gym and not adding any more stress to your day-to-day life with your already packed schedule. If you're watching this, you're likely a very busy individual. You might be thinking, this probably isn't going to work for me. I've tried all this stuff before, and I'm here to break that limiting belief that you do have. Maybe you work, you travel, you've got family commitments, maybe you own a business, maybe it's all the above, and you're asking yourself, how can I succeed if life keeps throwing me curveballs? And again, I want to give you the tools to be able to navigate through these scenarios here. Whether you have a packed schedule and you have this misconception that you got to be spending hours in the gym, maybe you've tried so many different diets and approaches that just never seem to be effective, or maybe you can't follow through. And again, maybe you work very long hours, you travel all the time, you've got commitments, and life is just ever changing for you and you can't seem to stick to a consistent schedule. I'm here to help you and give you the tools to be able to navigate through this so that you can lose body fat, be healthier, keep it off, and stick with the system that's not only effective, but is actually sustainable and realistic. Now, disclaimer, before we dive right into the secrets, I'm here to tell you that it's not really a secret to begin with. Maybe you're just simply not aware of that, or you might not think it's literally this simple. But ask yourself the question, like, what if you could lose body fat, get healthier, have better performance in the gym, in life, with your family, whatever it might be, without adding hours to your already packed schedule? Ask yourself that question. Imagine what that would be like. Now listen, 4 to 5 training sessions per week is not necessary. You are not a bodybuilder. You are not an extreme athlete. If you're watching this video, I highly doubt that you fall under that category. And again, you don't have to spend hours in the week in the kitchen. This stuff is just not necessary. I don't know what your view of being leaner and being healthier or just diet and exercise in general is, but oftentimes we have this misconception that it is so time consuming. And I'm here to break that limiting belief because it is not. Again, this is not working. It's not necessary at all. This is extreme. We're looking to build something that's accommodable to our lifestyles as busy people. And again, we are not bodybuilders. This is not what our lives revolve around. Our lives revolve around our families, our relationship with God, our businesses. It's not around fitness and training and nutrition. Fitness, training, and nutrition is supposed to amplify those areas, not take away from it. Now, daily habits are everything. Listen, guys, like, the information is out there. You stumbled upon this video because maybe you are looking for a quote unquote secret. Well, listen, the information is out there. We don't need more information. We simply need implementation, a time efficient system specifically for you, for somebody that does not have a lot of time to waste at all. You want to be efficient with that little bit of time and get the most results with that little bit of time. And with this approach, a more minimalist approach, not only can you lose the weight, but you'll boost your energy levels and you'll be able to carry that energy over to other areas of your life. For example, we've got Storm Taylor, an executive and a father of a newborn at this time when I'm making this video. This is a 20-pound transformation in 10 weeks. He also had a very long history of crash dieting, so the results that you see, they go way beyond the visuals that you see right here. Just mentally, the transformation that this gentleman has made from going from crash dieting, yo-yo dieting, going up and down, to having balance with his nutrition and spending 5, sometimes like 7 hours a week in the gym to only training 3 hours max for the entire week. And we implemented the Minute Max Eternal Fat Loss Method, which was specified to him. Some of the limiting beliefs that you might have or have had in the past about getting leaner and getting healthier without adding more stress, more time to your already packed schedule is, well, spending hours in the gym to lose fat, that's required. That's what I must do in order to get into shape. I see everybody else on Instagram doing it, so that means I have to do it too. That is nonsense. You can train 3 hours. The proof is in the pudding. I mean, you'll see more transformations of people who are not spending so many hours in the gym. It is possible. So if you're under this belief that you've got to put in 5+ hours a week in the gym, maybe even more, I want you to know that a lot of great physiques, and you'll see some, were built in just 3 hours a week, maybe even a little bit less. And maybe you also think like, oh, I've got to be very restrictive with my diet. I got to give up foods I love to lose weight. No, you don't. You don't have to do that stuff either. That's absolutely ridiculous. I know there's a lot of trends going out there right now about what the best diet is, and I will get to that and show you just how simple it is. It looks different for everybody. Everybody that I've ever worked with, nobody does the same thing. We simply just follow certain guidelines, and we look at this, and here's the mindset, and I would write this down because I literally tell everybody this. You have boundaries in place, not restrictions. boundaries in place, not restriction.
The truth is, less is more. Again, you don't have to spend hours in the gym in order to be healthy and to be in phenomenal shape. And you don't have to go on some sort of weird trend. You don't have to be so restrictive with your diet. And that is the truth. And I don't say this stuff because I want you to think that, oh, this is easy. This is going to be easy, because it's not. It's going to require a level of sacrifice. However, we don't have to make it harder on ourselves. And that is the good news.
Secret number 2 that I'm going to give you. Well, first off, you might be thinking, well, this is not going to work for me. I've tried everything. I can't follow through. I always fall off track, like nothing. I'm hopeless. I'm hopeless. Well, listen, I've got a solution for you. Do not worry. I promise there is a way for you. There are infinite ways, actually, to be physically fit. It ultimately just depends on not only what you find effective, but what's accommodable to your lifestyle. Everybody has different dietary preferences. Everybody has different environments. We come from different cultural backgrounds. The list goes on. Everybody is different. God made us all unique. Therefore, that approach with each individual is going to be unique and tailored to them. And that's the great thing about this method, is that you're able to customize it to where it's suitable, it's effective, and sustainable for you specifically. Fad diets, quick fixes, all the name diets out there you've ever heard of. There's so many right now that are so trendy. Do they work? Practically speaking, yes, of course they work, but they're just, one, they're not necessary. If I'm going to fix my roof, the shingles on my roof, I'm not going to use a hammer and a nail. I'm going to use a nail gun to get it done a lot more efficiently, not just quicker, but more efficiently. That's the way I see these fad diets and quick fixes. And it's also just like building a house. If you rush the process with it, yeah, you're going to get amazing results and you're going to get awesome sales, but those houses are going to crumble. The fact of the matter is these approaches, they only work if you make them work. But again, there's no need to make it harder on yourself by taking such a, what I would consider an extreme approach that's just not necessary. And to add on to this, if you've tried a lot of fad diets and quick fixes, you might have that all or nothing mentality that I spoke about. Like, you go all in with something, the mindset is, I'm on and I'm off. I'm on this diet, I'm off this diet. I'm on this diet, I'm off this diet. I'm on this training program, I'm off this training program. And that is why you keep yo-yoing right there. That is why you cannot find this equilibrium and this balance with food, with training, with exercise, with just fitness as a whole, because you keep going on and off. And that's something that we want to work on. And again, I want to give you the tools to be able to overcome this all or nothing mentality. Again, the approach has to be personalized. It has to be custom to you. I'm all about systems and working smarter and not harder. The more automated things are, the better things are going to be, because we have enough decisions as busy professionals to make on the day-to-day. And one of the last things that we want to worry about is the food that we put into our mouths, and also like when we are going to exercise. The high-level CEO, and maybe you are one that's watching this, the high-level CEO, if he is efficient and effective with his business, most of the day is planned. Is it going to work out perfectly? No. And if he has to pivot, he knows what to do. And again, maybe you've tried a lot of stuff out there and nothing just seems to stick. But here's the key. It's not about working harder and going all in and whatnot. It's about being smarter and finding an approach that fits your life. It's all about being persistent and not perfect. And again, this approach, if it's your lifestyle, no matter how hectic things get, you're going to know how to pivot, and you're going to know how to make sustainable changes within your day-to-day that you can actually maintain in your daily routine. Again, you need it to be simple, you need to have clarity, and you need to have a plan that fits your life. And that's exactly what you'll get with this system. Now, this is Jonathan Reynolds. He is the CEO of Titus Recruitment. Look the guy up. Nobody is busier than him. This gentleman has 3 children. He runs a business. He's involved in several other businesses as well. He's tried a lot of fad diets. This guy had a pretty extreme personality. Like, he is very much all or nothing, all in the stuff. And we had to reframe that and work through that. He also travels quite a bit. He would skip training sessions, and now he only trains 3 hours a week, 3 days a week, and he hits a daily step goal, and he controls the food that he puts into his mouth. It's really, really simple. He loves the food that he eats. He goes on business outings. He doesn't have to worry about falling off track. He is a very social creature. He's out and about all the time, and he doesn't feel like he's tied to a ball and chain versus the fad diet route. And again, we implemented the Minute Max Eternal Fat Loss Method. Now, the reality is that I can hand you the exact formula that will work, practically speaking. But if you don't believe it will work, if you have all these limiting beliefs from your past experiences, or you're relying on motivation, it's not going to work. It only works if you work. And again, maybe you've tried so many different approaches, but going back to the analogy of using the nail gun and the hammer and a nail, maybe you just made it a lot harder on yourself. And I would forgive yourself and move on and be optimistic to trying something new. Because again, like there is an approach for you. I love the whole saying, like not one size fits all, because in my practice, like I've never seen one person do the exact same thing. It's always different, but again, we need to implement boundaries in place, guardrails that we can follow and not feel so restricted and have like a ball and chain tied to our ankle. And if you're relying on motivation, look, like I would quit if that's the case too. But if you have a system that you can follow, a path that is paved out for you to where all you have to do is walk, which I can't force you to walk. I'll walk with you. I'll walk you to the well. I'll even stick your head over the water and make the water taste good, but I can't make you drink. But regardless, like I will move the brush, I will move all the fluff out of the way to where you can simply just thrive. And that is the point of this whole system here.
I have to reinstate the truth that every diet works, right? Every workout program, it works practically speaking, but let's be realistic for a second. You don't have to make it harder on yourself. Again, I'm not implying that, hey, this is easy, my approach is way easier. Ask yourself the question, like, if you could make it easier on yourself, like, why wouldn't you do that? And this all or nothing mentality with fitness in particular, it's never going to end well. We have to reframe this. You're never on something. Like, if you think about it, everybody is on a diet technically. Your diet is your habitual pattern of eating, and it's nothing more. It's not something that you label, it's not something that you give a name to. Write that down. Your diet is your habitual pattern of eating and nothing more. And there's no need to rely on motivation when you have a system that is proven to work.
Secret number three to overcoming, well, hey, what if work, travel, or my commitments with my family, what if they get in the way? Like, how do I pivot through the curveballs that life keeps throwing at me? Look, I get it. Like, everybody's busy, right? Like, Elon Musk, when he was building Tesla, like, he didn't have time either. Like, I just have to be real and upfront. Like, nobody has the time, right? We make the time. We make the time for the things that matter the most to us. And I get it. Like, we have things that are very important. We cannot put ourselves last. Like, we have to put our health and our well-being at the top of the priority list, because if we don't take care of ourselves, then we're not going to be our best versions of ourselves for our work, for our commitments with our family, our relationship with God, if you're a believer. So my goal is to give you the formula to where you can be able to navigate through this. Now, maybe you're winging it. Listen, that is not going to work. Like, especially if you're a busy professional and you're working long hours, you've got all these commitments, whether it be with work, with church, with family. If you're winging it on the day to day, it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry to break it to you. And something else that you might be falling into is starting fresh and waiting for when the time is right. So let's just say you're on point Monday through Wednesday, and then, oh my gosh, you have all these curveballs hit you Thursday and Friday. You got these meetings that you're being pulled into, or your kid gets sick, and you justify and rationalize and say, hey, you know what? This isn't the right time. I'm just going to start over Monday and put everything aside. We want to break through that and give you the tools to be able to pivot and know exactly what to do when life throws you curveballs. Like I said before, like we always make the things that mean the most to us a priority. There is always a way in every situation. And again, I want you to know that you're not alone. Like I don't want to guilt trip you for feeling that way, for feeling frustrated. I get it. Like I totally get it. I've been there. And life is very unpredictable. But you don't have to be perfect with every single variable. You don't have to be on point with your diet all the time, with your training. Like you need to have that flexibility. And that's what we give you, is those strategies to be able to navigate through those scenarios so that you can make adjustments, pivot, and keep making progress no matter what life throws at you. A lot of what I'm talking about today is not necessarily training, nutrition. It's all mindset. We need to be able to learn how to navigate and be able to channel our emotions in stressful times, no matter what life is throwing at us. So say you get pulled into a meeting, or again, your kid gets sick, like just something that pops up out of nowhere. You need to be able to navigate through that, know how to reframe your mindset to ensure that the decisions that you're making are in alignment with that 2.0 version of yourself that you desire to be. And this all comes through the systems and focusing on the small daily habits, stacking those wins each and every day, again, being persistent and not worrying so much about being perfect. Now, going back to systems, it's all about sticking with your daily habits, making progress, even when life isn't going according to plan. Like life is going to throw us curveballs. Every scenario is not going to be perfect. And that's why it's crucial that we are relentless with the persistence in our daily inputs. And that's what the system is all about. Again, it's not about perfection. It's simply about being persistent, because the reality is we're not going to be able to give 100% in every area. And that is what this system is all about. And that's what it's going to shed light on, is that we have to be balanced in every area, because fitness, nutrition, just being personally excellent in general, it is a lot, especially if you are a high performing individual and you want to be your best self in your career, with you want to be the best family man or family woman, whatever goal you might have. But remember that you're not always going to be perfect and you can't give 100% in every area. And that's what this system is about, is to keep the needle moving. You're not always going to skyrocket and make crazy amounts of progress, but you're still going to be moving the needle as long as you were sticking to the script. Another client of mine, Anthony Warren. This gentleman is a real estate investor out of Clarksville, Tennessee. This is a 6 months transformation. He lost 50 pounds. This guy is always on the fly. Like, he's always getting calls left and right, being pulled into meetings and stuff like that. Prior to that, he also dealt with some stress eating, and he was very inconsistent with his training schedule. He was trying to go 5-6 days a week. We pulled it down 3 hours a week. We hit a daily step goal. We put in a system to where he knew how to pivot through each situation with his nutrition, whether it be eating out, whether it be prepping for days in advance, whatever the case might be. He knew exactly what to do just based off of the environments that he was being placed in. And that's by implementing the Minute Max internal fat loss method. Now, here are some of the common limiting beliefs that I see out there about losing weight, being healthier, being more efficient when you have commitments with family, work, and even travel. I can't lose weight because of my work schedule, my family obligations, or travel. Again, you don't have to be perfect with it. Everybody has control over the food that they put into their mouth. If you get anything from this video and nutrition is a big struggle for you, which it is for a lot of people, it will most certainly was for me. Let me give you something. If somebody's not holding you gunpoint and saying, eat the donut, eat the Twinkie, you have control over the food that you put into your mouth. Just remember that. So no matter what life throws at us, we still have control over the variables that we can control. And that's what this is about. Again, it's not being perfect. And maybe you think it's impossible to lose fat. Like, I've got to put hours into the gym with meal prep or workouts. And if you have this big view of diet and exercise being a chore and not a reward, then again, that's something that we are going to reframe today, because it does not take hours. In order to be in phenomenal shape and to be an above average human being, like, it does not require hours in the gym, and it does not require hours meal prepping. I promise you that. Less is more. I'm all about the minimal effective dose, if you can't tell.
We only have so much control over these external forces, whether it be family, whether it be work, whether it be travel, whatever the case might be. And the hard truth is, despite that, there are people who are in great shape who still manage to keep track of their health and their wellness, no matter what life throws at them. And you can too. Your goals don't have to be on hold just because life is throwing you curveballs. The key is to simply be adaptive.
Now, do you see how this can work for you? See how simple it is? There's not really much of a secret to it. What I did through this video is just simply help you overcome the limiting beliefs around the struggles that you're having. Now let's get into these simple solutions that we have. Solution 1, simple habits. 3 pillars of nutrition. What is this? Write this down. Number 1, focus on quality of food. If it came from an animal, eat it. If it was grown from the ground, eat it. Eat a diet rich in primarily wholesome foods, but also allow yourself to be flexible. I like the 80-20 rule. The next pillar, number 2, is going to be prioritize protein anytime you design a meal. And then lastly, simply stay within your calorie range. You can go on the internet and find a TDEE calculator and calculate how many calories that you need to consume to put yourself in a calorie deficit. Next, hit a daily step goal. Doesn't matter how you do it, just simply get moving. And then resistance train 3 days a week, no more than 45 minutes a session. It is that simple. Solution number 2 is building systems. First thing is your mindset. Be thinking long-term. Again, we need to reframe this all or nothing mentality. Instead of thinking about just the outcome, think about the process and how that best fits your life and how you can stick to it long-term. Environmental design. Now, altering your environment to make things easy. Again, we don't want to rely solely on motivation. We want to be able to thrive in a sense to where we don't have to think about it and things are just simply automated. And training and nutrition preferences, again, everybody is different. Like I mentioned before, especially on the dietary side of things, like I've never seen one person eat the same way. So I would make a list of all of the foods that you've enjoyed, breakfast, lunch, dinner, categorize it too with protein, carbs, fats, fruits, vegetables, etc., and then start designing meals from there. And as far as the training goes, like there's so many different forms of exercise, write those down as well. And then the last solution is just simply planning. Control the controllables. Stop worrying so much about being perfect. Again, it's all about persistence, not perfection. And learn how to pivot when need be. You're going to have to do this. Again, and that doesn't mean that you have to put things aside and say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to start over fresh Monday. No, pivot and control what you can right there, no matter what circumstances present themselves. And own your calendar. If you're not planning your work, your time with your family, training, meals, social events. Make sure that you're simply putting this on the calendar. It is that simple. So wrapping all that up in a bow, here's what we covered today. What if you could lose fat and get healthier without adding hours to your already packed schedule? It's possible. And you could be thinking like, hey, this is not going to work for me. I've tried so many different fat diets and approaches to exercise, like nothing works for me. We've already reframed that now. There is an approach out there for you. And also, like, what if? What if I work? What if I travel? What if I have all these commitments with family, with church, with social events, whatever it might be? Am I able to succeed if life keeps throwing curveballs at me? That's when we need to know how to pivot. So let me ask you a question. How do you see this being fit into your lifestyle, this approach that I laid out for you? And you might have some questions on how that works for you. And I don't have enough time in this video to make a personal recommendation for you, but what I will propose here is that you do book in a call with my team. We'll discuss where you're at currently and see what that looks like in regards to your overall goal and how we can fit the system to fit your lifestyle. What are we offering? I'm going to keep it really simple, really brief here, just a brief overview of what the program looks like. So we're all about habit and behavior change. So we always assign a daily step goal to provoke cardiovascular fitness and fat loss. Whatever styles of exercise that you enjoy with resistance training, with cardiovascular activity, that's what we prescribe. Again, it's based off of your accommodations and what you're willing to commit to. That could be anywhere from 3 to 5 training sessions per week, anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. Again, it just depends on your lifestyle. And we'll also give you guidelines on how to pivot, say life throws curveballs at you. Crystal clear nutritional guidelines, what to eat, when to eat, and how much base to eat on your dietary preferences. Not one size fits all. We want to ensure that you are taking an approach that is accommodable to your dietary preferences. Environmental and routine design for success. Now, this is a key player for sticking to the systems and making things automated. So what we'll do is take a look at what your daily routine looks like, what your living situation looks like, what your work situation looks like, your social environments, what that looks like, and we'll ensure that the plan is accommodable to that specifically. To take it a step further, sleep and stress management routines will ensure that you have a bulletproof routine in the morning and the evening to optimize your sleep as well as become stress resilient. Habit and behavior change is key. We can get the outcome in infinite amount of ways. However, if we're not altering our behaviors and making sure that our habits are in alignment with the outcomes that we want and we're not sticking with it consistently, then there's really no point in doing that. So we're going to ensure that we instill habits that are not only effective, but are accommodable to your lifestyle and they're realistic and something that you can actually stick to forever. We want you to learn what you're doing and why. Like I mentioned before, the information is out there, but we want to condense it for you to make it really simple. Everything that you need to know as far as training, nutrition, and even mindset, which I didn't mention on here. Accountability is everything. Maybe you do have all the information, but you simply haven't had real accountability. Maybe you've had accountability with, say, your partner or maybe your friends, but those who put skin in the game and those who are surrounded by like-minded individuals, iron sharpens iron, who are on the same journey and are going to hold your feet to the fire, that's what real accountability is, and that's what we offer. The impossible to fail accountability system. This is the key player for our program right here. Accountability is everything. Again, the information is out there, but we have improved, we have refined this system to ensure that if you commit to the process and that if you follow through and do what we ask, you will get to that outcome. You will become a new person. You will shape and mold into that 2.0 version of yourself that you desire. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found an immense amount of value in it. Now, you might have some questions about how the Minute Max Eternal Fat Loss Method fits you and your lifestyle specifically. Book in a call with myself and my team. We'll assess where you're at currently. We'll go over what you've tried in the past, and we'll discuss how the Minute Max Eternal Fat Loss Method fits you and your lifestyle specifically. Thanks again for watching. Stay healthy and God bless.